All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Secrets in the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie. And today, this is an exciting guest because we're going to start talking about bike trips. And what better to talk about bike trips but to bring in Scott Givens from Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. That's all you need to think about. If you're sitting in the cold weather that's starting to roll in up here in Quebec, Canada, then you're starting to probably think about somewhere warm. So we've got Scott, and this is a little bit of background on him before we bring him out. So Scott Givens, he started his touring cycling camps. We're going to hear more about this, but they're mountain bike camps, and it's called Bike Paradise. So Bike Paradise was started by Scott, an avid mountain biker with over 30 years of riding and competing under his pedals. As his riding career matured, he soon discovered a passion for introducing friends, family to sport that he loves so much. He knew his years of experience helped him become a great rider, but that didn't automatically qualify him to be a good instructor. And I guess we're going to talk about that. Yeah. But before that, Scott has, additionally, over the last 10 years, Scott has provided coaching, ride leading, and logistical support for Magura. We're going to talk about that. Annual press camps in Sedona. Okay, I'm all about that. He's also known to make some pretty delicious sourdough pancakes. And I also want to know about that. So welcome, Scott, to the podcast. I am so excited to talk about mountain bike trips in Arizona.
Yeah, super excited. Thanks for having me, Sylvie. This is awesome.
All right. So I always love to get into our conversation. And so grateful for you and our listeners. Now, how did you get into cycling?
I still remember the day when I first hopped on my first mountain bike. My father had arranged a vacation with a coworker in, oh gosh, where was it? It's right on the tip of my tongue, in Southern Colorado. And the coworker had a cabin, and he had a Jameis Dakar, I think was the mountain bike. And I think I was 14, and I hopped on it and started pedaling around. And you know, I grew up with kids' bikes and BMX bikes, I'm sure, like most of us did. But getting on that bike and just having the wide tires and being able to ride around on trails and dirt roads and things like that, just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just stuck with me, and it's stuck with me my whole life.
Certainly, because you do talk about competing. So how old were you? Did I miss that?
I'm thinking I was around 14-ish, 14, 15, something like that. Yeah.
So that's about the ripe age of teenagehood. And did you get competitive after that? Or because you talk about being in competition riding?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that seems to be the natural progression.
Evolution, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just enjoyed getting into the sport and learning more about it, you know, working in bike shops and just completely absorbing the whole culture. And then certainly me and my high school buddy, we started getting into, what would it be like to race? You know, we think we're really good, really fast. And, you know, quickly found out that wasn't the case. That racing is really hard work. But yeah, jumped into, you know, at the time, the only thing that was available was cross-country mountain bike racing. So we did a handful of cross-country races, and then I always sort of gravitated to descending. I really enjoyed that part of it, and was, you know, our little group of friends, I was the one that was, you know, just let Scott go first. He's going to be faster going downhill. So then I got interested in downhill racing, and did that for a couple of years. And this is all just at amateur, you know, sport level, nothing pro level at all. But then, you know, the thing with downhill racing is it's a whole lot of work for really a one-shot deal. You know, you can train and practice, and you've got your 3 to 5 minutes on the course. And if you have a mechanical or a flat, then all that prep and all that work is just, it's over like that. So, and of course I had a few of those where I had a flat or a crash or something. And so, you know, and then Enduro started becoming popular on the scene, and it just made sense. You know, this is the kind of riding that everybody likes to do. You know, you have that social ride up to the top of the hill, and then everyone has fun blasting down. And so I really enjoyed that, and started Enduro racing, I think in around 2013. No, I think it was before that, maybe 2012. And then I did a few kind of one-off Enduro races, and then got into the Big Mountain Enduro scene, the Big Mountain Enduro race series, which is a North American Enduro race series that goes between Colorado and Utah and New Mexico, and they've even branched out farther now. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I raced the entire full seasons of 2013 and 2014, and was very proud to take third place overall in the masters class. So yeah,
Yay.
it was a ton of work, and
Yeah, I bet.
a lot of work, and it was the whole family. You know, I had my I've got two boys. They're almost 9 and 11 now, but at the time they were 3 and 5, and so I was dragging them and my wife, and we're camping in a trailer. So it was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun road trips, and I got to go to places that I never would have gone before, but because the race was there, it was, hey, this is where the race is. We got to go check this place out. So yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
You know, it's funny because actually my kids are the same age as your kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a daughter who's 11 and a son who's 9. And but I got into road cycling racing, which is not as exciting as mountain bike racing, and the locations are not as exciting because I was just thinking about that because I traveled by myself, and you know, like road racing, it was like a one day, but it was, like either you're hanging out in a town somewhere, but mountain bike races are usually on really cool locations.
They are,
And
yeah. Well, and with the enduro racing, they release the courses. So for your listeners who aren't enduro or aren't familiar with enduro racing,
yeah,
it's a collection of time stages with untimed transfer stages in between. So the idea is that over the course of one, depending on the venue or in the event, but generally 1 to 2 days of racing, and you might have, say, 3 to 7 stages that you're timed on. So and the idea is that they don't want everyone practicing the course for months upon end before you get there, because then it's just a downhill race. Although, the locals are always going to do well. But, they might release the courses on, say, a Wednesday, and then, you've got some travel time. So maybe you show up on Thursday or Friday and you practice as much as you can to help learn the courses as much as you can without blowing yourself up for the races on Saturday and Sunday. So then on Saturday and Sunday, you'll have a transfer stage that you pedal up to untimed, with your group or with your age class or whatever it is. And then you wait in line essentially it's a time trial. So then you wait in
okay.
line. So then you wait in line for your turn, and then they usually send off the non-pro riders at 30-second intervals. The faster pro riders they'll send off at 60-second intervals, and then you just take off, and it's just you on the course by yourself. And you might catch someone, or you might get past, and then you finish that stage and catch your breath and see what broke on your bike, if or if you crashed, everything's okay, and then you pedal up to the beginning of the next stage. And a lot of these events are held at lift serve mountain bike parks. So some of the transfer might be you actually hopping the lift and then maybe traversing across a different section of the mountain. Sometimes to keep it equitable and fair, they might pull the chairlift out of one of the transfer stages, and you might have to pedal up to the top of the mountain. So you're doing all these stages on the exact same bike, and some of the stages might be a little more pedally, some of them might be more technical downhill. And so the racers that excel at these courses are really well-rounded, overall very extremely fit mountain bikers that have good technical riding skills and good endurance skills and good fitness skills. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Wow. I I love it. So it's like, so you basically go from event to a like stage to stage to stage
Yep.
it during the day. And just let me get it right, because I guess I'm like, oh, enduro. I was thinking of something totally different than what you're explaining. Um, so say in one day you have to complete 5 stages. Like, what if you miss one or you come back to one, or how does it work? Like, you have to go from stage to stage, or like they are waiting for you to, like, do you have start times for each one of them, or like a time trial?
Sure, yes, sometimes they do. You know, from a race event organizer perspective, there's a lot of logistics, as you can imagine. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine the amount of work and hours that those guys put in to put on these events.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's sometimes they'll start out the entire event with start times, and then that sort of sets the stage to get everyone
Right.
to the beginning of the next stage in that same sort of group. And then also sometimes it becomes a little bit more organic, where as you progress throughout the day, and this is one of the things that's so great about these events, is as you progress through the day, you start building these relationships or friendships and camaraderie with other racers that are in your group.
Uh-huh.
And you all kind of, because you'll be transferring, you know, you'll be pedaling up to the top of the next stage, and you kind of start to learn who's faster and who isn't. And so you might get to the next stage, and and you'll be there in your group, and the other riders in your group will go, no, no, you know, let's let him go first, because we know he's going to be faster. We're just back here, we're the weekend warriors, we're just here to have a good time. And so it's sort of self officiates in a way of who's going to go next. But yeah, in the beginning they might have assigned start times,
Okay.
you know, towards the
To
end of the
start the
weekend.
whole event,
Yeah, towards
kind
the
of.
end of the weekend, sometimes it just devolves into, hey, we're tired of being out here, you know, from the race promoters event. They're probably tired of being out there. You know, they're lugging timing equipment. They've been out there since 5 in the morning, you know, lugging up a laptop and the radio equipment and all that stuff. And sometimes you can tell they're phenomenal people, right? But sometimes you can tell that they get to the end and it's just like, we don't care who goes, just go.
I'll just check you off. Okay, next.
Yep.
Because if they're all timed and there's not like a mass start, I guess you could just go up there and check off your time, start time, and then you just, because you have a chip on you, I imagine.
Yep.
So it'd
Yeah, all
start
the
and
number
stop.
plates have chips. Yeah,
Yeah. So then I guess that all that data would go together, and then is it, I guess, an accumulated time that it
exactly.
took
Yep.
to for, oh, well then, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
You just go one, like, and you can take breaks and you can then go to the next one, and then you have to complete all of them by the end of the weekend to get your overall time to see who did the whole event. Oh, that's kind of
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah. So the challenge for me at that time
Yeah.
was, I would, you know, we would travel Wednesday and Thursday, depending on how far away the trip was, or the destination was. And then I practiced on Friday. And then on Saturday, when I was racing, I would race a stage. And then often, you know, that you would, unless it's like a big backcountry type event where like Durango, where there's no lifts. So you might be taking shuttle buses here and there. But at the lift serve mountain bike parks, I would race a stage, come back down, and then rush back to the camping trailer and kind of check in on with everyone there, you know, and
Well,
scarf down some food, check over my bike, what broke, what didn't, you know, what else do I need? Or is my family okay? You know, is my wife about ready to you know, ship the kids off because she's tired of dealing with them, and you know, so all those dynamics. And then I'd race back up, and or you know, pedal back up and to the next transfer stage and do another stage and repeat. And so yeah, it was it
very
was quite an
cool.
experience.
I wonder if there's ones like that around here. I'd have to check. Anyways,
Yeah.
so but moving on, you, so that was a, so when did you decide that maybe I should start a um like bike paradise? And or was there something in between, like your enduro and the the starting of the business?
So yeah, in 2013, I got certified to be a mountain bike skills instructor. I've always enjoyed, you know, certainly enjoyed the sport. enjoyed introducing friends to it. And I started following around a guy by the name of Shams March, and he's a very accomplished, rider. I don't want to mess up his bio, but World Cup racer, national 2-time champion, all that great stuff. But a really phenomenal person and a really phenomenal instructor. And he had a mountain bike skills instruction certification business. And so prior to 2013, I had been kind of toying with that idea, like, oh, what would that be like to be a skills instructor? And I certainly recognized, and even in my instruction courses now, I like to highlight that the fact that you can have a really good rider, but that doesn't necessarily make them a really good instructor. They're two equally different skill sets. So so I was following his program around and trying to find, just the timing of, because he would have his instruction camps, and trying to find, okay, location wise and timing wise, when it would work out. And finally worked out to where he brought the camp out actually to Phoenix in 2013. So I went through that certification, and it was a really amazing process where, I went in with a pretty open mind, but also there was a little bit in the back of my head thinking, well, gosh, I've been riding for, at that time, 20, 25 years. I must be doing something right. And I learned that, yeah, I was doing some things right, but I didn't know why I was doing them. It was just from trial and error. And then I learned that there was a lot of stuff that I could be doing much, much better. And so it was a really great experience from that perspective. And I just enjoyed the kind of entrepreneurial sort of idea of having my own, coaching business on the side. So I got that instruction certification through what's now called the BICP, the Bike Instructor Certification Program. So they're a globally recognized program that their goal is to standardize and provide quality quality curriculum for mountain bike instructors. So I've been involved with them. So not only am I a certified skills instructor through them, and along with that comes ride guiding and ride leading skills as well. But I'm also an instructor trainer for them. So I go off now, and similar to what Shams did for me, I go off as a BICP instructor trainer and provide the instruction to other riders who are looking to become skills instructors themselves. So that started the ball rolling in the mountain bike skills instruction, mountain bike skills instruction genre or area, I guess. And then that started getting me thinking about, well, the funny thing about the Phoenix weather in the area here is our seasons are kind of inverted from just about everywhere else. So I like to think of our summers as our winter, because everyone huddles inside the air conditioning, because we can get into 120 plus degrees during the summer. But if you're living here full time, if you can stand, June through about September, then the rest of the time we've got absolutely perfect weather. So I put that together with my joy of just, being with other like-minded riders and wanting to introduce people to sport and wanting to show them all of our amazing trails we have here. And then thought about, well, there's lots of riding camps and riding trips where maybe you're going from, where it's very kind of down and dirty, where maybe you're camping, or maybe you're going from hotel room to hotel room, or maybe you're going from lodge to lodge. And I thought, well, what if we had a single spot where you could stay, and it was ride in, ride out, so you didn't have to worry about shuttling. And we've got all these great trails. So that was kind of the genesis of the whole idea of Bike Paradise. So combining our unique off-season riding weather and being able to pull in folks from other parts of the country when their weather starts to get cold, snowy, icky, muddy, rainy, whatever it is.
Yeah,
And then provide them
plain ready for something else.
yeah, and then provide them with a more maybe upscale experience, where maybe they've done those camping trips and they've done those hut type trips, and they're ready for something maybe a little bit more upscale. So the property we have is a really beautiful home with a gorgeous backyard with a pool and a hot tub, And again, what's so great is you can ride in and out from this property, and we've got over 100 miles of single track at our disposal through different parks nearby. And we can shuttle to different areas, but it's almost unnecessary unless there's a really, really high demand for, I want something that's really crazy technical and ton of climbing. But we're really geared our trips to cater to really all skill levels. If you want technical, if you want something, that's got a lot of climbing, a lot of descending, we can do that. Excuse me. Drink of water there. But we also have, it's a little dry here.
Yeah, I bet.
But our main goal is to provide trail experiences for riders of all skill levels. Our trails tend to be pretty buff and smooth, and we throw in a little bit of technical here and there, but just the overall vibe of the Southwest, a lot of people haven't experienced it. So we're in the middle of the Sonoran Desert, and that's the only place in the world where you'll see saguaro cactuses or cacti. And so it's just a really amazing area. And of course the weather, our daytime temperatures during the winter will be in the 60s and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. What's the Canadian or the centigrade conversion is what?
No, it's hot. Hotter than here.
But,
so how did you find that property?
So
is that your main residence right now, or is it something that you just use for your camps?
Yeah. Oh, I would love to live there. Yeah. But
I was like, that's your office off the side. That's your
it's
your pool house quarters.
Yeah. No, it's not mine. We just use it just for the trips.
Hey, let's take a mini break because I have to tell you about this unique online cycling coaching program that's going to blow your mind. This is your fast and easy way to become a better and stronger cyclist by joining an online 16-week cycling training program geared towards improving cycling skills. My name is Sylvie, your podcast host and Level 3 National Cycling Performance Coach. I have been coaching this unique 16-week program every winter since 2006. Why did I create this unique 16-week program? Winters were harsh and still are here in the region. No one likes or liked to work out alone in their basements until the world of online cycling really took off last year during COVID, which has been a game changer for cyclists worldwide. So why would you sign up to a 16-week online road cycling training skills program when you could be riding inside? Well, here's the thing. There's this little known thing called the 4 key pedal strokes. Hardly anyone is talking about, but when you learn and use them, you will see a huge difference in your cycling performance, not to mention impressing your friends and yourself. First, why are you training on a trainer this winter anyways? What are your goals? Do you want to get faster? Could it be moving from 18 kilometers an hour to 20 kilometers an hour? Do you want to win that sprint? Are you looking to get stronger on the hills? Do you want to now be the first to the top, not the last? Is it your endurance base building? Do you want to move into a faster ride group? Or maybe you're looking at getting into racing. Whatever the goals, they require specific skills that need to be taught and practiced in order to improve. I've coached over 500 cyclists in this program with a reported 5 to 20% increase in cycling fitness over the 16-week. Here are a couple of reasons that this program might be for you. You're still frustrated with climbing hills and keeping up with the pack. You like structure and scheduled training sessions. You like to train in your cycling zones. Your heart rate is all over the place. Possibly you want to optimize gear changing and learn a little bit more about that to become more efficient. You would like coaching feedback on technique and form. Joining a cycling skills program like the 16-week program can provide more benefits that will help drastically improve your cycling fitness through focused training in your heart rate zones, hill climbing, speed, endurance, while building up fitness through the 16 weeks a periodized winter and strength training program. Go to 16wkroadcycling.ca. That's 16wkroadcycling.ca for all the details and to join today. The program starts in December. Now, back to our episode. Oh, dang.
I know. That would be that's one of my ultimate goals is to be able to own my own Bike Paradise property and use it exclusively for the trips, and then maybe rent it out for other folks too.
Yeah, I hear properties around Scottsdale or Phoenix are not going very cheap.
No, they're not.
Especially yours. It looks like it's kind of sits on top of a mountain, like all by itself. Or is that just
yeah,
my perception?
There's a few neighbors, but it's pretty spaced out, and the views. Once you get there, the views, you can't really see anybody else. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing place for sure.
Wow. So tell us. So how long ago did you get that started?
So it's been kind of a genesis or idea rolling around in the back of my head for several years. And actually I started it with a friend of mine who had a similar interest of, hey, let's we were kind of talking about it, and we said we should do this riding vacation sort of thing. And we both jumped into it and started, putting together what would the logistics look like and coming up with a logo and coming up with our first website. And then his interest just sort of shifted over to a different, he actually ended up opening up his own brewery, which we actually go visit
use.
Yeah, on our Bike Paradise trip. So he said, yeah, I'm interested in this brewery thing now, go ahead and take Bike Paradise over. And nothing had really happened at that point. So right. I wrapped my arms around it and redid the website and started really going after the marketing of it and trying to get the word out there. So it was probably in the back of my head for, say 4 or 5 years before anything ever really came out of it, but really started going after it hard and heavy around 2018, and then hosted our first trip in 2019.
Perfect. Right before the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we got some good traction, had a great first trip, and then had another great second trip in the beginning of 2020. And I thought, this is it. I've got some good testimonials. I got some good feedback. Everyone loves the idea. I just need to get more eyes on it, and then everything fell apart.
Well, not just fell apart. It's just on hold for a little bit. But I see that you're back up and running, because that's how I found you on Facebook. So now I've done training camps before where we've all gone down to like South Carolina, and I've been the organizer and everything. So what's the and the biggest thing is the food part, because everything's all included. So everybody, if you go to the show notes and check out bikeparadiseaz.com, and if you are a mountain biker, this is like his website. Scott's website is really cool. It's got a lot of great pictures. And you'll also notice for those couples, they have a rider and non-rider option. So whoever is the non-rider can lounge around the pool, the hot tub, and I'm sure there's lots of hiking trails too, because actually all you have to do is drive around Phoenix, and there's so many different places to go hiking. But tell us about that menu of yours.
There's so many things to do.
There's so much hiking
in the area. There's hiking, there's golfing, there's museums, there's shopping. There's depending on the time of the year, maybe there's some pro sports, maybe some baseball going on. NFL, we've got our football team. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's even one of the things that we like to do. What's that?
There's a casino. Is there a casino?
Yeah, there's a casino. Yeah, the list of things for non-riders is endless. So if there's a couple or two buddies or two friends that one's a rider, one's not, you can still bring them along. They get to hang out at the house. They get to eat with everybody. But while we're riding, they can go off and do their own thing. And we can
go Camelback Mountain.
Yep. Camelback Mountain. Yep. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So tell us about the menu, because when I was doing it, that was the biggest thing. And I know you provide all meals, so it's an all-inclusive, which makes it even nicer. But yeah, just tell us a little bit about that,
Well,
because
yeah,
I'm sure that was the
that's the whole
biggest thing
reason
to
why
think
we all
about.
ride, right?
Yeah, that's right. But
So we can hang out
good
with our
beer
friends.
at night and good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the way that, I always love that aspect of riding, is being able to, when you're all done, hang out with your friends afterwards and enjoy an amazing meal and have a beer, or if you're not a drinker, have a, well, whatever. But just having that social part afterwards and being able to stuff your face and replenish all those calories that you blew up.
Now, do you have somebody cooking, or is it a communal thing?
Yeah, so good question. So when we first started this out, we had looked at, caterers and just getting all the food catered in. But that's
Right.
really expensive.
Hmm.
And as Bike Paradise is growing, it doesn't really make sense to put all that effort into the catering. So my wife, who is an amazing cook, provides some of the meals, and then some of the other meals are just provided from local restaurants. So when we get to the point where maybe there's enough participation and the logistics just don't work out to do these kind of onesie twosie meals, then yeah, we'll have it fully catered by some awesome local caterer. But right now, and it's working out really well. One of the meals will be, most of the breakfast and one of the dinner meals is provided by my wife, who again, is an amazing cook, and there's some of the pictures on there. And then all the other meals are provided by local restaurants, whether we go there or we have it brought in.
Oh, I see. Okay. Cool. Wow. All right. So tell us a little bit more about the leading and some of the specialty um, trails in the area. Because you said you can, so it's, from what I understand, it's near Scottsdale. And from what I remember, that's like the southern part of Phoenix.
It's
No?
more on the eastern side of the Phoenix
Okay.
Valley. So yeah, if you think of the Phoenix area, it's a
It's
huge
huge.
metropolitan area, and
Yeah.
there's lots of little individual municipalities, and Scottsdale is
Mhm.
one of them. And that's the one that everyone almost universally recognizes, is Phoenix and Scottsdale. We're Scottsdale sits up against what are a small range of mountains called the McDowell Mountains, and we host all of our Bike Paradise trips just on the other side of the McDowell Mountains, in another little area called Rio Verde. But nobody knows about or has ever heard of Rio Verde, so I just
That's
say,
good.
yeah. So I just say, hey, we're near Scottsdale. Everyone goes, oh, I've heard of Scottsdale.
Yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, the property is actually in Rio Verde, just on the other side of Scottsdale, on the eastern side of the McDowell Mountains. So we've got access to all the trails that are in the local preserves and county parks there.
Cool.
So
All right.
the trails themselves, again, there's lots of variety that we can throw at riders, but we tend to stick with the trails that I think will cater to uh, most riders. So
Yeah.
they tend to be for a given day. So right now we're doing 4 day. I'm sorry, 4 days of riding. So you'd arrive on a Wednesday, and then we'd ride Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you would leave on Monday. And the rides are maybe around 20 miles long or so, maybe a little less one day, maybe a little bit more the next day. Um, but the amount of elevation gain is maybe around 1,000 feet. So not a ton of climbing, but the trails just have a lot of flow to them, and the scenery is just really amazing. So lots of smooth, fun, flowy trails, weaving around these giant, enormous sorrel, cactus, big giant rock formations, boulders that are the size of large buildings. I mean, it's amazing scenery, and really,
Wow.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just looking at just some of the videos and the pictures that you had there, and they look really phenomenal. So let me ask you now, how do you manage different levels of mountain bikers that come in? Like, I know that you carry it to a wide range, but we all know that there's different levels of cyclists. And mountain biking, you probably get different confidence levels, probably not so much fitness, but because of just the technicality, I guess, of different trails. So do you have different like beginner, intermediate, advanced trails? And do you go out more than once a day, or is it just one ride a day?
It's one ride for the day, but it's broken up into sections. So,
Okay.
so again, one of the other cornerstones of Bike Paradise is we want it to be more of a vacation and not a big giant ride every day.
Slugfest.
Yeah, which
Right.
is cool. You know, we all enjoy those rides where we go out and we just hammer and we turn ourselves inside out, and at the end of the day, you're just shelled, and all you want to do is just eat a taco or a burrito or whatever, grab a beer,
Drink
and then
lots of beer and go
and
bed.
then just go to bed. I love those kinds of rides too, but with Bike Paradise, we wanted to be, again, more of a relaxing riding vacation. So yeah, the ride might be all day long, but we're not out there hammering all day. It's more just, hey, let's just go for a great ride, enjoy the great scenery, enjoy the great trails. So the way the trails are laid out, there's lots of opportunity for different options. So we can take a group, you know, our maximum size, group size would be eight riders. And I have other guides that help me depending on the size of the group that are familiar with the area that can take, you know, if we need to split people up, we can. But most often the trips we've done so far, everyone's just enjoying the ride, enjoying the scenery, that everyone just hangs together. But yeah, we do have options where in the past we've said, you know, maybe this couple is interested in going on this particular section, and this other or these other riders are interested in going in a different section. So we might split up and meet back up. Or maybe the group collectively is looking to do something different from what we had planned. And so we can deviate and maybe cut some more, or cut some trail off, or maybe add some on. So the way the trails are laid out, it's kind of a spaghetti network where you can venture off this way and then I'll meet back up at a different spot. So there's lots of different options. So yeah, we can definitely accommodate different skill levels, different fitness levels. You know, we can appreciate that it might be the off season for our guests that are coming in, so they may not be at the tip top of their shape. Sometimes folks will get excited and they'll say, yeah, I've been on the trainer in my basement. So
yeah, that's right. That's us.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go. That's why we drive 12 hours south and go riding for a week.
yeah, to get maybe some sunshine on your skin and get out of the basement. But yeah, we want the trips to be fun. We don't want the rides to be so hard and so challenging that at the end of the day you don't want to enjoy you know, we've got this great property. We want to have enough time for you to come back in the middle of the afternoon, maybe late afternoon, and be able to hang out and relax and talk about the ride from that day, and just share stories and hang around in the backyard on this beautiful patio with the hot tub and the pool, and you know, have some quick snacks and a beer or whatever it is, and then figure out what we're doing for dinner. And so
Love
again,
it.
not just grinding everyone into the ground to where you collapse in the
because
dust.
you are biking 5 days in a row, remember.
4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
But still, that's right, you need to make sure everybody can enjoy those 4 days. So I love that. Now, those trails, did you create any of those, or have they always been in that area?
They've always been there. I didn't personally create them. It's kind of half and half. So half of the riding we do is in a county park. So they get funding through the county to build and maintain the trails.
Oh, okay.
And the other half is a preserve that's owned by the city of Scottsdale. So they provide their own funding to build and maintain trails. There are some volunteers that will go out and build and maintain trails, and also preserve volunteers that just go out there and help guide other riders. But yeah, so So yeah, I didn't create any of them. I hats off to the trail builders and diggers, because none of this would happen for any mountain bikers without them.
Yeah, that's a ton of work for sure. So, Scott, what do you have going on? Since I found that advertising, let's talk about your next, talk about your trips that are coming up that you're organizing, that you're advertising.
Yeah, yeah.
What
So
can people expect?
so I've got, let me pull up the dates. So I've got 3 trips scheduled this winter. We've got one in December, one in January, one in February. The December one is December 8th through the 13th. The January one is January 19th through the 24th. And the third one, the February trip, is January 9th through the 14th. And all 3 of those are the same format, where you show up on a Wednesday, we ride Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you depart on Monday. There's some important deadlines that are coming up.
For registration, of course. Yeah.
For registration and payment, yeah, for sure. So for the December trip, it's happening really fast, really just a day or two. So by September 29th, if you're interested in that December trip, we need to have full payment for that one. The January, February trip, those are out a little bit. So the deadline for the January trip is November 10th, and the deadline for the February trip is December 1st.
Okay, so November 10th.
Yeah, and I just posted those on a recent Instagram and Facebook post, but we can put those in the show notes if you like as well.
Yes, we'll definitely have to do that. We'll have to get this episode out before that deadline so people can grab it. But yeah, so that's awesome. Now, what do you do in the meantime? Keep yourself busy.
Yeah, well, yeah, this definitely keeps me busy, but it's not
I
my
know.
day job. It's not my day job yet, but maybe someday it will be.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
The what pays the bills right now is I'm a mechanical engineer for Honeywell Aerospace. Yeah, so I've been there for over 20 years. But the corporate gig gets a little stale after a while, so it wouldn't be a bad thing if mountain biking vacation business took off.
Yeah, so if you could have one every month, because I understand, like, oh my God, the rental, the logistics, the setting up, the advertising.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but we've got it down to where we've got it flowing like a bit of a machine now. So we've ironed out those logistics and have gotten really good feedback from our riders and guests that have come out so far. So some of those testimonials are up on the website. We've had people from Ohio, and we actually had one gentleman who drove all the way from, I can't remember, I just remember him being in the far eastern side of Canada, and he drove all the way across the states.
Ontario?
Yes, yeah, he was from Ontario, I believe. Thank you. So yeah, he drove all the way across, all the way down. And he was on a huge vacation. So our trip was just a little slice of what he was into. So it was great.
Oh,
and we've had a gentleman from the Pacific Northwest up in Washington. So yeah, grabbing folks from those areas where, as winter sets in, it's not the most ideal riding conditions.
I know. And if you have time, you can definitely do the drive. Now, I noticed one last couple questions, because I've always got lots of questions. Now, in your website, I saw that the bikes are rentals. So you have a fleet of bikes as well that are at your disposal for client or for participants?
Yeah, so that's the one thing that at least right now isn't inclusive. I hope to get to the point where I do have a rental, or a fleet of my own bikes that I can provide for our guests. But right now, so we've got it set up to where we make it really easy for you to bring your own bike. We've partnered up with Bike Flights, and we have a custom web page that's powered by Bike Flights, where you can go on there and you can put in your location of where you're at, and then it automatically fills in our local bike shop that we've partnered with, and it'll right away give you shipping and give you the shipping prices and the transit time. So if you want to box up your own bike and ship it out beforehand, it's a really really
Oh.
inexpensive way and very safe way to get your bike here. And we've had a
Mm-hmm.
few guests that have done that, and they love that. They, you know, at first it seems like, wow, it seems like kind of a pain, kind of a hassle. But once they went through it, they go, this was really easy. I just took my own bike, I dropped it off at my bike shop, and I said, hey, here's the information, the shipping information, just box it up for me. It ships out before you get here, which kind of makes sense. You know, if it's cold and icky, maybe you're not even riding your bike anyway, so you're not missing it. So it ships out to our partner bike shop. They can put it together for you if you want, or we've got you know, tools and a work stand at our property, and we'll grab your bike from the shop for you, and it'll be there ready and waiting for you either way. So those are the options we
Amazing.
have. Yeah, if you want to bring your own bike, certainly you can fly with it, or if you're driving, you know, that's easy too. But if you don't feel like dealing with your own bike, or you want to, maybe your current bike is maybe a little older and you want to try something newer, then our partner bike shop, McDowell Mountain Cycles, they always have the
That's
latest.
dangerous.
They've always
Very
said,
dangerous.
yeah.
Trying a new bike, you're like, I will never go back to the old
Right.
bike.
Yep. Yeah. So McDowell Mountain Cycles, they always have a great fleet of rental bikes that we get discounts on for our Bike Paradise guests. So at that point, all you'd have to do is show up with your riding gear, and we would take care of the rest of it for you. So that's where the all-inclusive part of it comes from, where whether you're flying with your bike, or you know, if you're traveling with your bike, or if you're using one of our rental bikes, once you get there, then everything else is taken care of. You don't have to worry about logistics, food, all that stuff. It's all taken care of for you.
That is great service. So especially for some people who don't know what to do with their bike, and having to pack it up for the plane, and sometimes not even arriving with your bike, which has
Yes.
happened. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And you know,
you could
sometimes the airlines don't treat bikes maybe as nice as they could. You never know.
yeah, the bike bugs.
Yeah. Yep.
I've heard people arriving, well, maybe not so much maybe not so much mountain bikes, but with road bikes, like cracked frames and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you haven't packed it properly. So that's a great service. I love that, Scott. So um I think we've covered everything. Is there anything else that you want to add? And where can everybody find you?
Yeah. So check out, I think you mentioned earlier, check out Bike Paradise AZ, as in Arizona, bikeparadiseaz.com. And we're on Facebook and Instagram, just the handle at Bike Paradise AZ.
Yes, that's where I found them. And so this is where you can go. Like those links will be in the show notes. You don't have to worry about memorizing them. And so think about what you want for Christmas. If you want a nice southern trip to Arizona in January when it's deathly cold, February, then Scott is the person to reach out to. Like, honestly, I was just like, ooh, I was checking out the prices and I'm like, maybe I'll go to Arizona. So
I just did think of something you had mentioned earlier. Like I said, our trails can cater to all skill levels. So even if you've never ridden a mountain bike, or maybe you have and it's just been on maybe easy trails, don't think that you can't do these trips. You know, you can come out, and again, I am a certified skills instructor, and I don't necessarily advertise that we're going to do skills clinics, but that could be part of it. You know, if you're wanting to get into mountain biking, this might be a good way to do it. You can, these trails cater to different skill levels, and I can provide the instruction that helps you have a safe and enjoyable time on the trails. So we really can cater to lots of different
that's a
skill
great
levels.
point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because then when you start cycling in Arizona or mountain biking in Arizona, you're not going to want a mountain bike back in Canada where the roots and the rocks and all the mud, and then that's a whole different skill level you got to have to teach all over again. But that is a really great point. It's kind of like starting your scuba diving experience in like Thailand and then coming back to Canada and discovering it's just not the same. And that's what happened to me. And I'm like, oh my God. 3 mil wetsuit, what?
Yeah. Different buoyancy factors there.
Oh yeah, just the end price. Anyways, so this has been amazing. Thank you. So like you said, we can find him everywhere on Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you go and follow Scott and Bike Paradise AZ, as well as myself, Sylvie _cyclist on Instagram. And I want to thank our listeners for taking in this episode. Maybe, you know, this has got those that, you know, start thinking about where you'd like to, if you've ever seen mountain bike in Arizona, maybe this is the person to go cycling with instead of like trying to figure it out on your own. Which when I was in Sedona, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should mountain bike, but I'm like, no. Like I would want to do it with an organized group for sure.
Yep.
So you don't want to get lost in the desert.
Yep. Yeah. We've carefully picked out all of our rides to where we guarantee you'll have a good time and you're not going to be completely wiped out at the end of the day. There'll still be some time to relax and enjoy. And we also offer, for those that want it, we also offer a massage therapist to come to the house if you want. We even have a chiropractic stretching person that can come in and provide some stretching therapy. So it really is a luxury vacation that has some mountain biking in there as well. So yeah.
It has a mountain biking in there as well. Did I mention the hot tub and the food and the and then you can mountain bike. So this is just getting better and better. So start looking at their calendar. Remember, he's got deadlines for payments and registrations. And with that, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much again, Scott. This has been amazing. And like, ooh, those wheels are starting to turn as
Come on
maybe you
out,
might see
Sylvie. We'd love to
me.
have
Oh,
you.
no, don't tempt me. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. And thanks a lot, Scott.
No, thank you for the opportunity, Sylvie. I really enjoyed talking to you.